Welcome to our class today on how to speak English naturally. You'll learn full phrases natives use in daily life, and you'll learn natural spoken English pronunciation. So you'll learn how these sound in the real world, what you'll hear on TV, movies, YouTube, and of course in person. And then you'll learn how to hear them, how to listen to them naturally, and how to say them naturally as well. You'll sound fluent and you'll understand natives with the help of this class. So, first, let's review some full phrases that you can use when talking about sleep. Is this something you talk about as part of your daily routine? I know when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I say to my husband is, "How'd you sleep last night? How'd you sleep last night?" Now, did you notice that my pronunciation sounded different from how the spelling looks? Because I didn't say, "How did you sleep last night?" How did you sleep last night? That would be when you're pronouncing each word separately, which is not how English sounds. That's not English pronunciation. So instead of saying, "How did you?" I said, "How'd you?" How'd you? How'd you? How'd you? Now, that's not a requirement for you to pronounce it like that. However, again, it's important to make sure you understand natives. How'd you? How'd you? How'd you sleep last night? 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 So make sure, if you can, you open your mouth and say this as well. How'd you sleep last night? So, what's your answer? I don't know about you, but for me, it's pretty early in the morning. So, this is an appropriate time to ask someone, "How'd you sleep last night?" So, share your answer in the comments so I can make sure your answers are correct and natural as well. Okay, hello, Sahar. Oh, wow. After migration, where did you go? Let us know. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, this is something I say a lot. It's a little bit longer, so notice how I say this in natural spoken English. I'll say it fast, and then I'll explain the pronunciation changes. I was in a super deep sleep when the alarm went off. I was in a super deep sleep when the alarm went off. So this often happens to me. Hopefully this happens to you because it's a sign that you slept well. I was in a super deep sleep when the alarm went off. Okay, so notice, to be in a sleep and then super deep describes what type of sleep. If you're in a deep sleep, it means that maybe there are some noises around, but you don't hear them because you're asleep. So it's a really good sleep to say a deep sleep, a deep sleep. That's a common adjective to modify sleep positively. And super is very commonly used by native speakers to emphasize it. So it means very deep, extremely deep. I was in a super deep sleep. So notice pronunciation here. I was in, I was in, I was in a, I was in a. Okay, so this was in, we can connect them together. I was in a, and in a. I was in a. Repeat those. Repeat that. I was in a. I was in a. I was in a. I was in a super deep sleep when the alarm went off. So notice this went off. You'll just have that flap T. Went off. Went off. Went off. Went off. Went off. Went off. So if your alarm and then the verb is to go, conjugated in the past simple, because I'm talking about when I was sleeping. So that's, of course, a completed past action. When the alarm went off, that's when all of a sudden beep, beep, beep. That's your alarm going off. So, what time is your alarm set to go off? Set to go off. Okay, so notice that's a phrasal verb, to go off. To go off is commonly used with alarms. So you can use this probably every day. Oh no, my alarm didn't go off and I missed my flight, for example. I slept like a log. What do you guys think? Is this positive or negative? I slept really well. I slept like a log, or I slept terribly. I slept like a log. What do you guys think? Okay. I was dreaming when the alarm went off. I love that, Milena. And this goes to my next one, I believe. How about this? So, Milena, absolutely perfect. Mine is similar. I just added a few adjectives or one adjective to make it a little more colorful. So, this is something I also frequently say first thing in the morning. I was having the craziest dream when the alarm went off. Okay, so when the alarm went off, that's the exact same thing as here. When the alarm went off. And notice you're doing something at that time. I was having. So you have dreams. Okay. Now, I use an adjective, the craziest, the craziest. This, as an adjective, it could mean positive, like the most interesting. Maybe I won the lottery and bought a super yacht and met all these celebrities. So that's really positive, crazy. But then it could also be something negative as well. So it depends on how the person says it. If you know if craziest is positive or negative, it could be either. But it's like saying strangest or weirdest, most unusual. I was having the craziest dream when the alarm went off. I was having the craziest dream when the alarm went off. I was having the craziest dream when the alarm went off. Okay. So, deep in the context of sleep, remember I said it emphasizes the positive nature of the sleep. So, it's like saying, I was sleeping extremely well, extremely well. I didn't hear the alarm going off and overslept. Exactly. So notice here, Alexander added over to his past of the verb sleep, which is slept. Overslept, this is negative. If you over and then the verb, it means that you do more than wanted or needed. So Alexander slept until 10 o'clock a.m., but he had to get up at 6:30 for his flight, for example. Okay, awesome. I slept like a baby. Exactly, exactly. That's very positive, very commonly used. I was having the worst nightmare when the alarm went off. Exactly. You can absolutely say that. So now this is, of course, negative because a nightmare is a scary dream. So it's negative. And the worst, obviously, is the superlative. So it makes it even more negative. Okay. Awesome job, everyone. How about this? We just saw that. So you nailed it because it's exactly what I wrote. I slept like a baby. I slept like a baby. So babies sleep extremely well. So this is positive. I slept like a baby. I slept like a baby. I slept like a baby. So notice here, slept. But when I pronounce the word in a sentence, I don't want that puff of air because it forces a pause. So I'll just do a flap T. I slept like a, like a, I slept like a baby, like a baby. I slept like a baby. I slept like a baby. Okay. Yes, I'm glad you think that listening and repeating is such a powerful method. Do you have any tips for remembering these phrases in real conversations? Yeah. Practice, practice, practice. There's no shortcuts. Your brain requires repetition in order to add it to your permanent memory so you can use it confidently in your speech. You can absolutely practice on your own. You do not need a native speaker. You do not need me to hear you say these phrases out loud. You can practice on your own, but you need to practice, practice, practice. And hopefully you will do that. Think of how much I'm practicing each sentence, but I'm not the one who needs to practice. You do. So are you saying all these sentences multiple times like I am? Okay. And don't try to memorize everything you learn in this lesson at once. It's too much. It's overload for your brain. So take the phrases you think you'll use the most and learn those, and then add some more phrases as well. Yeah, Horatio, I've always wondered this as well. Like, do babies sleep well? Because they wake up all the time and they cry. I think it's because when a baby is asleep, you can make as much noise as you want, and generally the baby does not wake up. You can take the baby from one room to the other, put them in the car, drive, and the baby doesn't wake up. So I think only that short section, but I've always wondered that myself. Does a sparrow sleep well? I don't know. And yes, no one answered about like a log, so I'll let you know that that is positive. So it's a idiom. I slept like a log. A log, it means I slept very well. So if you want to say you got an amazing sleep, you slept very well, you can say I slept like a baby, I slept like a log, and maybe I have one more. I slept like a rock. So those are the three: baby, log, or rock. And all three are very commonly used. Remember, it's to sleep. This is your verb in the past. I slept like a. You need that article a, like a, like a, like a baby, like a log, like a rock. Okay. Let's keep going. Now, those were positive. This is negative. I barely slept last night. I barely slept last night. So, again, slept, that's your past simple. Slept last night. Last night. So, again, you're not going to pronounce the T's because it will force you to take a pause. I barely slept last night. Last night. So it sounds like last night, last night. Now, this one's optional. I didn't push out the sound, but because it's a period and I'm forced to take a pause anyway, you can say last night, last night. You can pronounce that T because you're already taking a pause, last night. But you'll notice I didn't. So the choice is yours. I barely slept last night. Now, instead of barely, you could replace this with I hardly. I hardly slept last night. It's the exact same thing. So if you barely slept last night, it means you got a small amount of sleep. So if you usually sleep for 7 hours, saying I barely slept last night, maybe you got 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, but not enough to feel at your best. Yeah, and you can absolutely, I love what Paslak did here. You can absolutely expand on this and provide the reason why. I barely slept last night because, and then whatever the reason is, because the baby next door was crying all night, or because a dog was barking, Because a car alarm kept going off. So a car alarm can also go off. Mer, 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 because a car alarm kept going off. So it happened again and again and again. Alexander, this is a great one, but you have to use the past simple because last night is a specific past keyword. And the present perfect and a specific past keyword like last night do not go together. They're not compatible. So you have to say I didn't sleep a wink. I didn't sleep a wink. So this means when you wink, your eyes close. So it's like saying you didn't even have your eyes closed for a second. So if your eyes are not closed, they're open and you're not sleeping. So it's like saying it means the exact same thing as I barely slept last night, but I didn't sleep a wink. Sleep a wink. Sleep a wink. That's fun to say. I didn't sleep a wink last night. I didn't sleep a wink. Sleep a wink. I didn't sleep a wink last night. Exactly. Nice one. I like that. Okay. The sleep a wink or the baby? All right. How about this one? I tossed and turned until 2 a.m. I tossed and turned. I tossed and turned. Okay, so notice the pronunciation of tossed. The ED is pronounced as a soft T. Tossed. Tossed. But we're not going to pronounce that T fully. Tossed and turned. So this and is just going to be pronounced as like when you say coffee and tea, coffee and chocolate, coffee and coffee and. So the and becomes an coffee and chocolate, coffee and tea. Tossed in. So you might hear that T a little bit on the tin, tossed and turned. Now this ED on turn is a soft D, turned. So we have tossed, turned, tossed and turned. Repeat after me. Tossed and turned, tossed and turned. Tossed and turned, turned until. So you're going to hear a little bit of the D on until. Turned until, turned until, turned until 2 a.m. Okay, so this until 2 a.m. means that the action took place from the time you went to bed, let's say 10 o'clock, and then the action ends at 2 a.m. I'll do it here. So 10 a.m., 10 p.m., 10 p.m. is the start time. 2 a.m. is the end time. That's until. So if you toss and turn, it means you're constantly moving in your bed. So you try to sleep like this, 10 minutes later, and then you sleep on your back, and then you try this way, and then you try that way. So that's toss and turn when you're moving around a lot in bed. Okay. I tossed and turned, and you have to use them together. So you can't just say, I tossed until 2 a.m. I turned until 2 a.m. That doesn't work. You must say tossed and turned, tossed and turned, tossed and turned. So it sounds like this person did not fall asleep until 2 a.m. But then from 2 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. or whatever time the alarm goes off, it sounds like the person did sleep. Okay. So this is a very common thing that may happen to you. So did you toss and turn last night? Or did you sleep like a rock last night? Sleep like a baby, sleep like a log. Bannis slept like a baby. Awesome. Awesome. Sahar didn't sleep well. Did you toss and turn? Let's let's review this one. Okay. I'll say it at a natural pace. Let's just say I'm running on caffeine today. Let's just say I'm running on caffeine today. So this is like a jokey expression. So if someone asks you, "Oh, hey, Slavin, how did you sleep last night?" And then Slavin says, "Let's just say I'm running on caffeine today." What do you think? Did Slavin sleep well? Yes, he slept well, or no, he didn't sleep well. So if he says this, it's like saying, I'm so tired that the only reason why I'm awake now, why my eyes are open, is because the caffeine is fueling me. So I'm running on caffeine means the only reason why I'm functioning. So you're able to do whatever you need to do. So yes, he did not sleep well. But this is a jokey expression. It's just an idiom, of course. Let's just say I'm running on caffeine today. So that's a fun one to have in your vocabulary, a more playful alternative. Okay. I couldn't sleep well because my neighbor was playing music very loudly. I'm sure we've all been in that situation, and then it's frustrating. You're like, should I knock on the door? Should I bang on the wall? I don't know. It's not an easy one. Hopefully, you sleep better tonight. I tossed and turned until 2 a.m. Last night was too hot. This is a great reason why you might have had a restless sleep. So if you toss and turn, another adjective is saying restless. I had a restless sleep. So you're constantly moving. Yeah, the weather can do that. Too hot, too cold, perhaps. Ah, okay. Hidaki, make sure you say thanks to. It always requires the S. So it can't be thank to. Thanks to caffeine. Thanks to caffeine, which means because of caffeine. So when you say thanks to something, it means because of caffeine. He or she manages to stay awake, to stay awake. Keep waking up, it sounds negative. So, oh, I kept waking up last night. Every 5 minutes, I kept thinking about this presentation I have to give, so I kept waking up. But because of caffeine, the person is able to stay awake. Right now I am awake, and to remain in this awake state is stay awake, stay awake. So that's remain awake, stay awake. Okay, awesome, everyone. Yeah, caffeine is keeping me awake, keeping me awake. Exactly, exactly. Very nicely done. Caffeine is keeping me awake. So if something keeps you awake, it means it prevents you from sleeping. But in this case, it sounds positive because you don't want to sleep at 10 a.m. when you're at work and you have a deadline. You need to stay awake. So caffeine is keeping me awake. But you can say this negatively, my neighbor's loud music is keeping me awake. So that sounds negative. So it just depends on the context. I run on caffeine every single day. Oh. Okay, let's keep going. Are you enjoying this lesson? Are you enjoying these expressions that I use every day and you can use every day to make sure you sound just like a native? If you're enjoying the lesson so far, put yes, 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 put yes, yes, yes in the comments. Like this lesson, subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson as well. Oh, thank you so much, Ariel, for the generous donation. I appreciate that. And I guess I will buy a coffee myself after after this class so I can stay awake for the rest of the day. But actually, I slept very well last night. The rain woke me up a couple times, but I quickly fell back asleep. And I don't remember what I dreamed about last night, to be honest. So overall, I would say I had a great sleep. Okay, let's keep going, everyone. Oh, and where is it? Where is it? It's right in front of me. Whoop. I also have this free speaking guide. If you haven't downloaded it already, make sure you do because I share my best tips and advice. You can print it out like I did, or you can simply review it on your computer, save paper, and you can just go to my website. You'll see it immediately and you can download it and it will be emailed to you within a few minutes. Okay, everyone. Yeah, exactly. I often dream about my work for sure. Okay, let's keep going. Taking care of pets. Who here is a pet owner? Who has pets? Let me know in the comments. And maybe if you don't, maybe your parents do, a family member does, a neighbor does. So let me know what your relationship is to pets. Maybe you had one as a kid or you previously had one if you don't now. So share in the comments. And how about this? I always take Daisy for a walk after work. So let's say this adorable little puppy is Daisy. I always take Daisy for a walk after work. Okay, let's review the pronunciation. I always take Daisy for a walk. For a walk. I always take Daisy for a walk after work. For a walk. So you can do for a walk, or you can do a more unstressed for a walk. For a walk. For a walk. For a walk. So notice, I know it's a very basic A1 word, but I actually hear a lot of mispronunciations with the word walk, awk, awk, because the spelling and pronunciation do not match. So make sure you're saying walk, walk, for a walk, for a walk, for a walk after work, for a walk after work, work, work. I always take Daisy for a walk after work. Okay, so notice here, the sentence structure is to take and then the pet. In this case, the name of the pet is Daisy. But you could say, I always take my dog. I always take my dogs if it's plural. I always take my dogs for a walk after work. Now, you can take a pet to a location as well. So you could say, I always take Daisy to the park. I always take Daisy to the park after work. That's a common place where you take your pet. I always take Daisy for a walk. I always take Daisy to the park after work. And then instead of after work, you could have any time reference you want: in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, at 3 p.m., whatever it is. This is in the present simple, and our adverb of frequency is always. I always take Daisy for a walk after work. So, no name, whatever is helpful for you. When you're thinking about pronunciation, just think of what does it sound like to you? That's all that matters, because I could argue it would be either, because the A sound has many different pronunciations and so does the O sound. But there is uh, a a cooking pan called a wok, which is spelled WOK. And so if you're already familiar with the pronunciation of that, then you can use that as your reference word. But find whatever reference word makes sense for you. I walk my dog after work on a daily basis. Exactly. So here, notice it's to walk a pet. I walk my dog. I walk my dog. I walk my dog after work. You can absolutely do that. So that's an alternative structure. You can say, I take my pet for a walk, or I walk my pet. I walk my pet. Okay. Very nicely done. Thanks for sharing that. All right. Oh, my chihuahua. Okay. Oh, feeding my cat. Very cute. Very cute. Yeah, you can absolutely. So, if you don't have a pet, just think of how you can change this for something that makes sense for you. I always take a bath after work. Exactly. So, that's a routine action. And yes, the L in walk is totally silent. Just ignore it. It's not there. Walk, walk. Okay. So, just know that take a pet for a walk. We generally don't use this for people because it sounds like your friend that you're controlling your friend. And it sounds negative, okay? But we do use this in the context of little kids because they need control. So you can take your baby for a walk because your baby cannot walk himself or herself, right? You can take your grandmother for a walk, but that suggests that your grandmother needs guidance because she's unable to walk on her own. So if you use this with a person, just know it sounds like the person requires your support or assistance during the walk. So if you say this with a friend, I might be like, "Oh, what's wrong with your friend? Like, why does your friend require you to take them for a walk?" So just keep that in mind. So if you don't want to sound like that, you would say, "I always go for a walk with my friend after work," or whatever it is. You go for a walk with someone. So I would say to my husband, "Oh, it's a beautiful day. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a walk." Or I would say to my husband, "Let's take Daisy for a walk." So both of us are taking the dog. Okay, awesome, awesome. Let's keep going. Daisy, in this example, Daisy is the name of my fictitious dog. So this is Daisy, we're just saying. So Daisy is the name of a pet. Okay, how about this one? Have you experienced this? Maybe this is why you couldn't sleep last night because your neighbor's dog won't stop barking at the delivery guy or at the squirrels or at the trees. So now for our pets, we use he or she based on the gender of the pet. For animals that don't belong to us, like squirrels, birds, things you find in nature, we use it. All right. So for your own pets or the pets of your friends, family, animals that you care about, then you use he or she. She won't stop barking at the delivery guy. Oh, she won't stop barking at the delivery guy. So barking is the noise that the dog makes. Ruff, 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 ruff. And stop. And then you need the gerund verb after stop. Okay. Because the action continues and you bark at someone or something. Remember, I said she's barking at the tree. She thinks it's a person. She keeps barking at the tree. Okay. Yeah, don't change stop to prevent. It's always stop. Now, for prevent, I might say, "How can I prevent my dog from barking at the delivery guy?" So, someone prevents something or someone from doing something, which means to stop them from doing something, but it's a different meaning. Prevent isn't a replacement for stop. Okay. Yeah, you prevent someone from something or from doing something. Well, you can change the verb tense, but you have to realize it changes the context. So if you say she hasn't stopped barking, I would use for or since to show that it's a action that started in the past and continues until now. For example, she hasn't stopped barking since 3 a.m. Oh my God, I didn't sleep a wink last night. The dog hasn't stopped barking since 3 a.m. And now it's 5 a.m. and the dog is still barking. She hasn't stopped barking since this morning. So it changes the meaning. She won't stop barking, makes it sound like it's a routine action. Okay. Let's keep going. Now, here's a question that you just might ask out of general curiosity. Do you feed her both wet and dry food? Do you feed her both wet and dry food? So notice we have two nouns, wet, dry. So these are just styles of dog food or cat food as well, pet food. And I think you can imagine wet means it contains liquid in the mixture. So generally, you have to keep it in the fridge. And then dry food does not contain liquid, so it lasts for a long time. You keep it in the cupboard, not in the fridge, for example. Okay, so do you feed her? Do you, Dia, Dia? So it can sound very unstressed. Do you feed her? Do you feed her? And this her, native speakers often drop the H and it just sounds like but you have to attach it to the last sound. Feeder, der. So it might sound like feeder, feeder. Do you feed her? Do you feed her? Do you feed her? Do you feed her? Do you feed her both wet and dry? Remember we talked about, oh, what was it? Oh, yeah, toss and turn, wet and dry, coffee and tea, wet and. So you can take that and just make it but then you have to attach it to wet. So it would sound like wet and dry, wet and dry. Again, you do not have to pronounce it like this, but that's often how you'll hear natives pronounce it. So it will help you improve your listening skills. So when you hear some weird sound combination like wetten, maybe it will help you understand what it is. Wet and dry food, wet and dry food. Do you feed her both wet and dry food? Okay, so remember in this context is with a pet. You feed someone that is unable to feed themselves. So you can feed a baby because babies don't feed themselves, right? So, what time do you feed your baby? So you feed your baby. You can feed uh, an elderly person if they're unable to do it themselves for some reason, or anyone who is unable to do it themselves. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Bath and body, bath and body. So when we have noun, noun, and then we have the word noun and noun, that and can become bathin, bathin. But you can't say bath, body. You have to combine it together, bath and body. So it has to sound like one word. You're taking three words and you're making it sound like one. So bath and body, bath and body, bath and body, bath and body. No, I don't think so. I think you can it is not idiomatic in that sense. You can absolutely say dry and wet and dry. I don't know why I said wet and dry. Let me just think of it. Do you feed her both dry and wet and dry? Yeah, no, you can change the order. It's not in a fixed order at all. Yeah, I like that. You glue the sounds together. Very nice. Oh, this is a great one. Bed and breakfast. Absolutely. A native speaker would not say, "Oh, I stayed at this cute bed and breakfast." I stayed at this cute bed and breakfast. Bed and breakfast. Bed and breakfast. Flesh and blood. Flesh and blood. She's my flesh and blood. Exactly. Very nice. Okay, let's keep going. So, again, you could be talking about a young child, a baby, or perhaps even an elderly person. But in this case, we're talking about pets. She hates getting her nails cut. She hates getting her nails cut. So to get her, so of course that is a nail. I cut my nails yesterday actually, so they're very short. Now I didn't get my nails cut because I cut my nails. But of course, a baby can't cut her own nails and a dog can't cut his own nails, right? So that's why to get your nails cut or to get one's nails cut, so the nails belong to someone. So her nails cut, my nails cut, their nails cut. Okay, so it means someone else is doing it. This is commonly used with I'm getting my hair cut. I'm not cutting my hair. I'm getting my hair cut. So someone else is doing it. Yeah, you can say clip as well. So clip or cut, both I I personally say cut. I don't know if it's more common than clip, but it's what comes naturally for me. Okay, she hates getting her nails cut. So a lot of pets do not like this activity. So she hates, and then notice it's the gerund here. She hates getting her nails, getting her. So again, a native speaker will commonly drop that H, getting her, getting her, getting getting her nails cut. Now, nails is plural because you don't just do one, you have 10. Well, actually, I don't know how many do dogs? Dogs have 4, I guess. I think so. Who knows? Not me. She hates getting her nails cut. Okay, so nails is plural because it's not just one, but you could say, I cut my nail because I chipped it. So if you chip it, it means one piece of your nail is removed. Okay, so I had to cut my nail. You could absolutely just cut one nail, but in a general sense, you have more than one, right? And yes, her nails cut. That's in the past. So cut, all 3 conjugations are cut, 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 cut. Now, of course, in the present simple, she cuts her nails every Monday. So for a routine action, of course, you need to conjugate your verb. She cuts her nails every Monday. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. How about this one? Oh, I like this. She'll warm up to you if you give her some treats. She'll warm up to you if you give her some treats. She'll warm up to you if you give her some treats. She'll warm up to you if you give her some treats. So again, the she in this context represents our fictitious pet Daisy. But this could be for a young child as well. Maybe I would replace the word treat with something else, but maybe not. So a treat, just like you get your cookie in the afternoon. Well, dogs get little treats as well. So dog treats, just one small bite of food that is a little more delicious than their regular food. So that's a treat. Now let's review to warm up to someone. To warm up to someone. This is used in a broader context. So maybe you're new on a team and there's one person who seems a little cold. So if someone is cold, it means unfriendly. So they don't come say hello or talk to you. They don't offer you help or assistance. And then someone else says, "Oh, don't worry. He'll warm up to you. He'll warm up to you." So if someone warms up to someone else, it means they'll become more friendly. More friendly. And in the context of a pet, it might absolutely be more affectionate. So affectionate is not a verb. So you need the verb to be. She'll be more affectionate to you. So affectionate means she'll show more affection. For a pet, that would mean if a pet rubs up against you or you can pet the pet, you pet, this is the action, you pet, and then the name of the dog is a pet. So you pet a pet. So if she puts her head on your lap and you can pet her, that dog is being affectionate. Being affectionate, okay? But in a workplace in a situation, if a coworker warms up to you, it means becomes friendlier. So just simply talks to you more, small talk, or offers you support, asks you how you're doing. That's how a coworker can warm up to you. Warm up to you. Okay. So this is a great expression you can use in a general sense. Merrick, yeah, you can think of it as that. She'll start to like you, or in the sense of a coworker situation, at least be friendly towards you. Because, you know, the coworker may not actually like you, but at least she'll pretend to like you. So, yeah, she'll be more affectionate to you. Oh, right. Yeah, that's a great use of it or a great definition of it, Hossein. To warm up to someone is to gradually develop positive feelings. So whether those positive feelings are friendship, rapport. I saw a lot of people use the word rapport, affection, whatever those positive feelings are. Okay, let's move on. We'll move away from pets. Remember, you could also use those phrases in other contexts, specifically with a lot of caring for young children or elderly, or some of them in a broader sense. But now let's move on to packing for a trip. Who has an upcoming trip? If you do, share the location you're traveling to in the comments. And now, trip is general. It can be for pleasure, which is a vacation, or it can be for business, which we still call a trip. Okay. So, how about this one? Does this describe you? It kind of describes me. So, what do you think? Does this describe you? I'm a last minute packer. Do you know what this means? I'm a last minute packer. I'm a last minute packer. I'm a, I'm a, I'm a last minute. So you don't need to pronounce that T because it will force a pause. Last minute, last minute packer, 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 packer. Okay, so AK says yes. Asilbek says no way. Llama says exactly. Okay. And Marcel wants to know, what is a packer? Okay, so in this case, a packer is this woman, a person who packs, or a person who is currently packing. So she is a packer based on this description. So the alternative to this would be, I always pack at the last minute. So you can also say, I always pack at the last minute. But sometimes we want to use an adjective and then have a noun. So in this case, that's what this example is doing. I'm a last minute packer. I'm a last minute packer. Okay, yeah. And well, to delay something, and then you get the sense that if you're a last minute packer, it sounds like either her trip is tomorrow morning and right now it's 8 o'clock at night, or maybe her trip is this afternoon at 2 p.m. and right now it's 10 a.m. So last minute means at the very end point of the available time. That would be last minute. I'm a last minute packer. So does that describe you? And you can also say, I always pack at the last minute. How about this one? Oh, this is a great one. I'm worried I underpacked. Do you ever worry about this? This is something I frequently worry about. I'm worried I underpacked. Now notice, I'm worried, worried. I'm worried I underpacked. I'm worried I underpacked. So you hear a little bit of a Y sound. I underpacked. Now, I don't think, oh, well, the last one was packer. So this one, this packed, notice this ED is pronounced as a T. I packed, packed, packed. Now, because there's a period, I can pronounce that T. I'm worried I underpacked. So to be worried, worried is the adjective. It describes my current state. So, oh no, did I? Will I have enough? Did I pack enough socks? Do I need a sweater? I didn't bring a sweater. What if it gets cold at night? So that would be how you verbalize you're worried that you underpacked. So what does it mean to underpack? So if this woman is going on a 3-month trip and she only has one bag with 2 pairs of socks, one sweater, one pair of pants, and she's gone for 3 months, or even let's say 3 weeks. Doesn't need to be 3 months. That's a long trip. 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and only 2 pairs of socks and one sweater, one pair of pants. So it means you do not have enough items. So the items can be, of course, clothing. It can be your toiletries, your shampoo, conditioner, makeup for women, shaving cream, all of those things. Anything you put in your suitcase, if you do not have enough, I'm worried I underpacked. I didn't bring any sweaters. That often happens to me because I don't want a big bag. So I try to make my bag as small as possible. But then you don't have items with you and you may need those items. And if you have to buy those items, it's always way more expensive when you're traveling. I'm worried I underpacked. It's not that you forgot, it's that you purposely did not bring enough. So it's not that you forgot. If it were forget, you would say, I'm worried I forgot to pack shampoo. Or simply, I'm worried I didn't pack shampoo. So you didn't forget. You just purposely brought a small number of things. Maybe the number is too small compared to the length of your trip or the diversity of your trip. Because sometimes you might be going to the beach, so you only bring clothes for the beach. But then what if you want to go for a day trip in the mountains and it's a lot colder in the mountains, but you only brought shorts and tank tops and you don't have clothes for the mountains? So that would be underpacked. Yeah, you didn't prepare or bring things essential for the trip. Exactly, exactly. Okay, so does that ever happen to you? What's my next one? So, what's the opposite? If you underpack, you bring too few things, not enough things. If you overpack, this is when you go for 1 week and you bring 7 sweaters, 7 pairs of pants, even though you're gone for 5 days. That is overpack. You bring a giant bottle of shampoo. You're only gone for 5 days. Why do you need so much shampoo? So that's the opposite exactly. Is I'm worried I overpacked, which is often a problem for people. So what about you? If you had to say, do you underpack or do you overpack in general? In general. So what is your answer? For me, I would say underpack because I always try to make my bag as small as possible. All right. So, how about this one? Do you have room for my jacket? My bag is already stuffed. So, obviously, I'm asking someone else. So, I could ask my friend if I'm traveling with my friend, my sister, my husband, whoever you're traveling with. Do you have room for my jacket? So, room represents space. And so it would be in her bag, her suitcase, her backpack. Do you have space in your suitcase for my jacket? Do you have room for my jacket? Do you have? Do you have? Do you have? Do you have room for my jacket? Do you have room for my jacket? My bag is already stuffed. So that T at the end, stuffed, stuffed. My bag is already stuffed. So if your bag is stuffed, it means you cannot fit anything else. It's at full capacity. There is no room left. And it sounds like if it's stuffed, it's already more items than there should be in your bag. So you can't even do up the zipper. Does that ever happen to you? Your bag is so full, you have to step on it in order to do up the zipper. So do you have room for my jacket? My bag is already stuffed. I overpacked. I overpacked. Very good. Yeah, and room means space. Exactly. I have to be underpacked. I take Wizz Air line, so I guess they limit the amount of bags you can bring or the weight of the bags. I overpacked my luggage, so I had to pay an extra charge. Yeah, and they're usually pretty expensive. The bag, oh, greetings to you. The bag is small. I need a bigger one. Exactly. My bag is stuffed, but I still have all of these items to pack. I need a bigger one. My bag is overflowing. Exactly. So, overflowing, it sounds to me, you can't even do up the zipper. Your sweater is coming out of the bag. You do up the zipper, but your sweater is still exposed. That would be overflowing. Okay. This happens with my closet, and I always ask my sister for room, not a room, just for room in her closet or in hers, in her closet, in hers. Okay. How about this one? I'm done packing. I just need to double check my packing list. So I'm done packing. I'm finished with the activity. The activity is packing. So I'm done packing. I just need to double check. So double check, you've checked once and you're going to check again. Now, my packing list, this could be a piece of paper that has all your items. So shampoo, toothbrush, toothpaste, 5 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of pants, and then you cross it off. Of course, it could be digital as well. So that's your packing list, just like your shopping list or your to-do list. I'm done packing. I just need to double check my packing list to make sure you didn't forget anything. Okay. Well, that's all the time we have. So you'll have to wait for laundry day for another day. So don't forget your free speaking guide. This is absolutely free. You can download it from my website. Just go to my website, jforrestenglish.com, or you can go to this specific link you see and you just enter your name and email, and this will be emailed to you. I share my best tips and advice right in here. You can save it to your computer or you can print it like I did. So make sure you get this. And if you like this lesson, let me know. I want to know if this was a style of lesson that you like. If you like the categories that I chose, do you want me to choose other categories or a different style of lesson? Let me know. Share any comments you have. And if you did enjoy it, then put yes, yes, yes. So I know you like this style of lesson and I can keep making them for you. And of course, like it. It truly supports my channel. Subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson and every time I go live. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Woohoo. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, Marcel. Thank you for participating as well. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, IELTS. Sure. I have some on my regular long lessons, non-live lessons. So if you go on my channel and you search for IELTS, you'll already find some lessons, but thank you for the suggestion. All right. Awesome. Woohoo. You're very welcome. Thank you, everyone. You are an amazing student and I appreciate that. Hello. Hello. I am so glad. You're very welcome, Haseen. Okay. Woohoo. You're very welcome, Manuel, as always. Woohoo. AK, thank you so much for coming. Oh, thank you so much, Zishan. All right, Llama loves it as well. You're very welcome. Well, thank you everyone for spending this time with me, and I will see all of you in my next lesson. Bye, everyone.